Looking ahead here to Week 11, and your game Sunday, obviously in Denver, is the marquee matchup this week. So I'm looking forward to everything.
Man, we are too, Baldy, and we'll just dive right into that game. We talked about just how big of an opportunity this is for the Broncos, one of the biggest games that they've had in a very long time, and also a huge game for the Chiefs because they're sitting at 5-4 right here. At least I think this is an opportunity for the Broncos to essentially eliminate the Chiefs from the AFC West picture and title. Is this that big of a game for both teams?
It could be. I mean, honestly, if you win, you're up by 3.5 games on the Chiefs. And you've got 6 to play. So, I mean, it would be a huge advantage. It'd almost be impossible to overcome. I saw Mahomes this past week in Lubbock at the Texas Tech BYU game, and it just so happened his bye week worked out with the big game that his alma mater played. But, he certainly knows what's at stake right now. They did not play well the last time they played. And so I'm sure that they're looking to get back on the right track. They won a lot of games in Denver since he's been there. But, this is about this year. It has nothing to do with anything that's happened in the past.
Baldy, what do you see as the key to this game for the Broncos when it comes to finding a way to beat this Chiefs team?
I don't think it ever really changes. Buffalo beat the Chiefs because they affected Mahomes. They hit him 15 times. They sacked him 3 times. And their offense had been like they'd won 3 in a row, and it looked like they were all the way back. And suddenly, when Mahomes was flat on his back from Joey Bosa or, Gregory Rousseau, whoever it was, I mean, they weren't completing a lot of deep balls. And so, I don't know what's going to happen at left tackle for the Chiefs, but it's been an issue. I don't know if Simmons is back now and his issues are over with, but, they had a Band-Aid over there, and it wasn't good. And that's Nick Bonitto's side. And I would think a big part of this is going to be the Broncos pass rush, which has really ignited this entire franchise over the last 2 years. I mean, they have got to get their takeoffs on against Mahomes. And when you can affect him, you can keep the score down and you can make this a very winnable game.
Baldy, is there any team that's better equipped to do that than the Broncos? I mean, you touched on it there, but when you say that's the key, and I see some stats that say this year when Mahomes is pressured over 25% of the times, he's 1-4, and the Broncos have the best pressure rate since next-gen stats have been available since 2018. I mean, does that say that the Broncos are going to win this game?
Well, I mean, you look at the last game. I mean, it wasn't an offensive juggernaut, but, I mean, Geno Smith finished the game on one leg. They were blowing protections, over and over again. I'm not saying the Chiefs, they'll be better. They'll be better than the Raiders up front. But, I mean, they couldn't, sustain any offense. Even after the interceptions, they couldn't sustain any offense. It's hard to sustain offense if you can't get your feet set to make accurate throws. They had, when they got everybody back, including Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, they looked like they were unstoppable, except if Mahomes doesn't have time, he can't get the ball to those guys. And so I think it's the key. I don't think there's any team better equipped. They've got 46 sacks in 10 games. Do the math. I mean, they're on record pace right now. I think all those guys are hungry. They've had 10 days to get ready. I would think that they're going to be as fast twitch as ever. And I'm sure the crowd will only help fuel it.
Baldy, why are the Chiefs and why is Andy Reid so good off of a bye week?
So Andy Reid, came from the Packers in 1999. I remember I went to his opening press conference and met him that day. I got to know him over the years, especially in Philly, and that's where I was, and did a lot of Fox games. He is the master of tinkering. There's a lot of people have hobbies. They play golf. They do all these different. He doesn't do anything. His thing is you give him a pen and a film and some blank paper, he will come up with new plays. He'll come up with new plays. He'll come up with new designs. He'll look at what has worked, what hasn't worked. He'll figure out ways to get his team ready for things that he needs to say because he really is a great communicator to everybody. I don't think there's anybody at preparing better than Andy Reid. There's record proves that over the years, both in Philly and in Kansas City. And so that's what he does. He tinkers late into the night. He doesn't need much sleep, maybe 3.5, 4 hours at the very most. He's thinking about game planning. You talk to Mahomes on any given Sunday, he'll tell you that there's 8 either plays or concepts that are in the game plan. And it could be a red zone formation. It could be anything. But he's constantly thinking about how to attack. And I think the players really feed off of that as well when they see that game plan this week for Denver.
So then Baldy's saying that since Vance Joseph has got here a couple of years ago, in the past 4 games during Vance Joseph's tenure as defensive coordinator, the Chiefs are averaging 11 points per game against the Broncos. Now, to be fair, the most recent one was when Patrick Mahomes didn't play. Right. So you take out that one, it's 14.5 points per game. That's pretty damn good. Do you think that's Vance Joseph having a little upper hand against Andy Reid, or do you think it's more so the talent that they've had on the defensive side?
Well, I don't want to take anything away from Vance. I mean, Vance does a great job, and it was a great hire. I mean, he knows how to game plan, specific. I've seen them with 3-man rushes, when everybody thinks they're going to bring the house. But, it helps that, I don't know what Surtain's status is right now, but it helps that, they have fortified this team. You can see what Greenlaw and what Hufanga have done for this defense. They've been able to retain, Zach Allen and sign, Bonitto and, they've got the horses up front to get after you. And if there's a weakness up there, they're going to exploit it. And I kind of what I enjoy watching the most from the defense is how everybody celebrates everybody else's success. If Malcolm Roach gets a sack because Zach Allen got instant, penetration, he's just as happy for Malcolm as he would have been for himself. And I feel like it's a very unselfish group, a talented group, and then I think a coordinator that has everybody's attention.
So it's impressive. It's impressive what the Broncos have been able to do. But to get this one done, they're going to have to get production out of their offense. What is missing right now? What do they have to do to get this thing unlocked?
Well, I think that there's 2 things. I think, one, you have got to run the ball effectively. I mean, every offense wants it. They want some level of balance. So you don't want to put it all on the quarterback. You want to be able to run the ball effectively. They're dropping too many passes. I mean, they got to stop that, okay? And then I think every offense, basically their scoring is in direct proportion to the explosive plays. And you get a play of 20 yards or more on any given drive, your chances of scoring on that drive, grows exponentially. And so I think it's running the ball more effectively. It's making sure that you look the ball into your hands and do the proper things, catching the ball. And then I think getting your explosive plays. You're looking at 4, 5, 6. If you could get 4 or 5 explosive plays in a game, the chances of scoring in the 20s is pretty good.
Baldy, it seems like watching Bo recently that his footwork has just really sped up, maybe too much. It looks like he has kind of antsy feet back there, and maybe that's impacted his accuracy. Sean talked about it and said it's better to have that problem and have to slow everything down than have to try to speed things up for a quarterback. How easy is that for Sean to help Bo kind of slow down and just take a breath? Because we've seen him play at a very, very high level. How difficult is that to do midseason?
First of all, I agree with the statement that Sean made. Because there's too many guys that play quarterback in this league. They think they're playing baseball. And they think that, I got 4 at-bats here. And if I get a hit on 1, I'm already like at 2. Or if I don't get a hit against the ace pitcher, I can get him tomorrow. And there's quarterbacks that think like that. They're just too lackadaisical. I'd rather have a guy that's speeded up, fast twitch, getting ready to throw the ball. And then, okay, let's back off a little bit. I do think he's extremely mobile. He is looking to create space in order to get, throws down the field to buy time. And so you can get ahead of yourself sometimes. The emotions, the adrenalines, all those things can kind of speed you up. I've heard that from Brett Favre. I've heard that from a lot of quarterbacks, especially when they start the game. They can start fast because of the emotions. So there is something that you have to do to sort of calm yourself and stay in the moment. Almost like a yoga meditation type thing to calm yourself a little bit so that you don't get too high or feed off the emotion too much or play too fast. And so you could just do what you have to do in order to make the throw like you make it on Friday afternoon.
Baldy, last one for me, and I would be remiss if we went an entire interview with you without asking you some sort of offensive line question. Quinn Miners gets so much love. Palcho's got a lot of love for what he's done filling in, but I feel like what Garrett Bolles has been doing has been a little bit underrated. What has he done this year?
Well, I mean, in the last game, you didn't hear. I mean, when Max Crosby was over there, you didn't hear his name, not once. I mean, so I think that's a good thing. It's a good thing that Garrett Bolles' name isn't mentioned. It means he's not committing penalties. He's not, putting them in a negative situation. So he's playing consistent football. And that's kind of what all left tackles hope. I think both Garrett Bolles and Wattenberg are highly underrated. I remember when Wattenberg was competing for the starting center job last year. And, he's a kid that kind of came out of nowhere. But he is a very consistent, good football player. And your offensive line is going to be as good as your center. If your center is weak, your line is not going to be great. It just isn't. You're going to have too much penetration. You're not going to get things done in the run game that you need to get done. I think both those players deserve a lot of recognition.
I love that, Baldy. And final one for me. Do the Broncos get this done? Do they go to 9-2? Do they extend their win streak to 8 games? How do you think this game unfolds in Denver?
Well, I think you're going to get the very best of the Chiefs. Yep. So you're going to have to see them at the very best. They've been rested. They've had 2 weeks. They got a week off. They know what's at stake. To fall behind 3.5 games, they know that's almost impossible to make up. So I think you're going to get the best of the Chiefs. I think the Broncos defense is the best part of this entire, whether the Chiefs offense or Chiefs defense. I think the Broncos defense is the best. I don't know. I think it probably comes down to the final possession. Can Mahomes get it done again the way he's done so many times? Can they deliver the knockout punch, on Mahomes when he has the ball last? Because I think it's going to come down to the final possession.
Man, strength on strength. I absolutely love it. Baldy, thank you so much. Looking forward to talking to you next week.
All right, guys. Enjoy it, man. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to watch it.